Thank you for joining me for day 13 of these December Dash workouts. Today I have a movement flow that's inspired by yoga movements. Again, I'm not a yoga instructor or anything, so it's just moves that I like that limber up my joints, stretch my muscles, give me some energy. So I'd like to share that with you today to get you energized to start the beginning of your week. So I'm gonna hit go on my timer. It's just gonna go off every minute for 12 minutes to let me know kind of when to transition. Just follow my lead. I'm gonna start up on the ground. And the first thing I'm gonna do is think about 3 things that I appreciate in the day ahead of me. So just take a moment to appreciate those 3 things. Take some deep breaths and just relax. And these next 12 minutes are just for you, so enjoy them. So the first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take my right knee in towards my right shoulder, giving it some pressure to pull back and get a stretch. My foot is flexed, and my left leg, the quad is engaged, the foot's flexed. And then I'm just gonna let that rotate over to my left side. My right arm is down at a T, and I'm trying to rotate my chest up towards the ceiling, nice and easy, just getting some good rotation. Twisting at that belly button. And then I'm gonna let that come back in using my core. And I'm gonna extend that leg, keeping my right hip pointed or pulled down towards the end of my mat. And I'm just getting this stretch through my hamstring. And I'm gonna let this straight leg go over to the side for one more twist. And just breathe and get long. And then exhale, try to find more of a rotation. And then using my core, any assistance I need, I'm gonna lift that back up. Lift that leg back up to center. And let's do the same thing on the left leg. So left knee in towards left shoulder. Engage that right leg with foot flexed. Get a good stretch. And then bring that over to your right side. Left arm out to a T. Just relax into that twist. Feel it in your hip. The mid back. And then using the core, bring that back up to center. And straighten that left leg, making sure that hip's not hiking up, making sure it's pulling down towards the mat. Muscles engaged. And I'm just kind of pulling back wherever I can. Get a nice hamstring stretch. And I'm going to open that up to the side for one more twist. So you're trying to bring your chest, your sternum up towards the ceiling. Good. And lift with your core. And then from here, I'm going to lift my shoulder blades up off the mat. I'm going to lift my right leg off the mat. And now I'm just going to do a flutter. Keeping my core engaged, belly button pulled down, smashing my low back against the mat. Just getting a little core work in. All right, and we'll rest there. Bring that in. Bring both knees into your chest. Roll around a little. Good. And then from here, I'm just gonna rock myself up to this tall sitting. I'm gonna extend my legs out in front of me, get the meat out from underneath my torso, so I'm sitting on my sit bones so I can sit up nice and tall, arms overhead, feet are flexed, ribs are down. I'm not flaring out, I'm not arching my back, everything's pulled down. And then I'm gonna hinge at my hips and lean forward the best I can. And then my hands are just gonna fall wherever they might. I'm gonna lengthen my spine as one unit. Hinge forward a little more. And inhale, and bring it down. Good, I'm gonna release out of that. Bring my right knee in. Sweep my arms overhead. Again, ribs tucked in, tailbone tucked. I'm gonna rotate towards my left leg. And then same thing, hinging forward at my hips. Keeping my spine long. Just getting a little extra stretch through the hips, hamstrings. Good, I'm gonna release out of that and switch. Arms overhead, core engaged, rotate a bit to the right, and then hinge at those hips. And it doesn't matter how deep you get into this stretch. It's obvious I'm not great at these forward folds, but that's okay. It's where I'm at. So just do what feels good to you. Beautiful. I'm gonna release out of that. So now I'm going into this, like, I think it's called cow face pose. I'm putting my left leg on top of my right, trying to pull back my feet like handlebars, knees stacked on top of each other best I can. If you can't get in that position, if you want to put a blanket or something underneath you. I guess I should have said if you want any props. Again, I'm not a yoga instructor, so I don't think of those things. Arms overhead, shoulder blades down back, core engaged. I'm going to bring my hands down to a T. I'm going to put my left arm on top and wrap them together, trying to touch my palms. And then I'm going to lift my arms, getting a good stretch through my shoulder blades. And then I'm going to hinge forward to get a stretch through that left hip. Hold that for a couple breaths. Remember to relax my jaw. Up and unwind everything. So now my right leg is going on top of my left, knees stacked on top of each other, pulling my feet back like handlebars. Arms up overhead, nice tall torso, core engaged, arms to a T. Now right arm on top and trying to touch our palms, and we're lifting up towards the ceiling to get a good stretch through those shoulder blades. And I'm going to hinge forward. Beautiful, nice stretch in that right hip. Breathe here. Beautiful. And unwind from that. And now I'm going to go into quadruped and do my cats and cows, because of course. So my wrists are underneath my shoulders. I'm pushing against the floor so that my chest isn't sinking in. I'm nice and stable through my shoulder blades. My core is engaged. I'm not dipping yet. Just trying to find that neutral position. Hold that for a moment, and then let's begin with our cats and cows. So I'm really gonna push. I'm gonna pull my belly button in. I'm gonna pull my pelvic floor muscles in, like that Kegel, because that's part of your core too. It's just the bottom section of your core. So it's important to practice those pelvic exercises, pelvic floor exercises. And then I'm gonna drop into my cow, opening through my shoulders, through my chest, and pulling back through my belly button, pushing away, and one more, dropping in, letting that belly sink, stretching through your chest. And then I'm gonna come back to that neutral position, and I'm gonna stick my left leg out to the side. Just get a nice stretch here for a moment. And I'm gonna bring my right arm out to the side, and I'm gonna lift that leg. And then I'm gonna rotate my arm forward, the leg back, toes flexed, leg is engaged, core is engaged, back to the side, and rotate, extend it out, back to the side, one more, extending out, to the side, drop that right hand, drop that left foot, come back to center, reset, get the core engaged. Now your weight is going to be through that right hand and left knee as you extend your right leg out. Just trying to get a nice stretch through the groin. And then I'm going to bring my left arm out, nice and stable through the right arm and right leg, core engaged. And then I'm going to lift that right leg, and then I'm going to rotate the arm and leg so that everything's extended. I'm squeezing my glute, pushing through my shoulder blade. Everything has a good tension on it to help keep my body from swaying and wobbling too much, and just being very aware of how my muscles are activating. I'm going to drop that left hand, drop that right foot, bring it back to center, and then I'm just going to take a short break, stretching out in child's pose, stretching those shoulders out, pushing my elbows into the ground to get a little extra stretch. And then I'm going to come back into this high plank position. And now I'm going to press back into what yoga's called the down dog. So I'm tucking my tailbone down, pushing through my forearms, my fingers. I'm gonna look forward and I'm gonna hop or step up. I'm gonna get long through my spine and I'm gonna fold forward. So bend your knees as you need, but if your knees are straight, squeeze those quadriceps. And just hang here for a moment. I'm gonna bring my hands to my hips and I'm gonna come up with one long spine. And then let's just go through a couple of what they call the Nyasa Flows to get our heart rate up. We're gonna reach overhead, ribs down, core engaged, pelvic, tailbone tucked. And then I'm gonna swan dive down. I'm gonna lengthen. And then I'm gonna step back into my high plank. And I'm gonna lower down to the ground. Untuck my toes, press up in that cobra. So shoulder blades down and back, pulling your elbows back to the mat, or to the back of the mat. And I'm gonna tuck, knees down if you need them, but press up and push back. All right, let's speed that up a bit. So I'm hopping to the front of my mat. I'm lengthening, I'm folding, I'm pressing through my feet and reaching up tall, engaging my core, tucking my tailbone, and I'm folding back down, lengthening, and then I'm gonna hop back into this chaturanga. You can step back into that plank, lower yourself down, just getting into that up dog or cobra, and pushing back with your core to the down dog. All right, let's see that again. Hop it forward or step forward, lengthen, fold forward, reach up high, down through center, folding forward again, lengthen. Here's it, stepping back to high plank, lower down to the ground if you need to, or do that chaturanga movement, shoulder blades down and back, pressing up, getting a good stretch, back down, press up, knees down if you need it, pushing as one unit, back to down dog. Okay, we have time for one more. Hop it forward, lengthen, fold forward, squeeze those quadriceps. Coming on up, down through center, fold again, lengthen, plant those hands, hop or step back to plank, lower into your chaturanga or your cobra, pressing it back, and down dog. Good. Okay, so I'm gonna come to a seated position, and I'm gonna take one more deep inhale, bring everything down towards center. I'm gonna remember those 3 things that I appreciate about the day ahead of me. And I'm also gonna say 3 things that I appreciate about myself. Like, I appreciate that I took a few minutes to myself. I appreciate that, oh, that's so hard when you have to say it out loud. I appreciate that I'm kind-hearted, and I appreciate that I have the energy to put on these exercises for you guys. Oh, that's difficult when you say it out loud, so just say it inside your mind. Anyways, I appreciate you joining me today. I hope you feel energized and are leaving with a smile on your face. Take that energy and share it with all beings everywhere. And as the yogis say, namaste. Thank you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.